Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. Hey, what's going on? This is Tony Taylor with Leaders Lead the podcast. I am super excited to talk to you today where I'm at. It is Friday, March 18th, 11:08. It depends on when you're listening to this. Hopefully you're going to listen to this soon because I got a really important message. I've noticed quite a bit that people are reaching out to me, and they're reaching out because they have a fear of public speaking. And I'm excited. I'm excited because we're talking about it. They say that there's over 77% of the people in our population globally that are afraid of public speaking or some fear of public speaking. There's some people, they'll tell you, no, I'm not afraid of it. I've done a couple polls on LinkedIn, and more people say that they're not afraid of it than they are, which tends me to, I don't know if my data is screwed because maybe I got a lot of people that are in the profession of public speaking or they do public speaking for a living, so it's not that bad for them. But I've just been thinking about me and my journey. It was something that I didn't want to share initially. There's a bunch of people that told me not to share it because I wouldn't get as many speaking gigs if I told people that I have a fear of public speaking. So the reason that I do it is not so that I can become or be a motivational speaker, even though that's what I get paid to do. But my thought process and my goal has always been to transform or help transform people, right? And most corporations, they hire me to talk about leadership. When I get hired for schools, depending on who I'm talking to, if I'm talking to the school leadership, I'm talking to them about, different ways or things that they can do better, reinforcing or affirming the things that they're already doing. But something that I haven't done before was dive into actually helping people, creating a curriculum for helping people. And we've done it. We've done it because the people have asked for it. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about that with y'all today. I'm excited to tell you my story and my journey of public speaking. I noticed early on when I was probably about maybe 10 or 12 that I was a shy kid, right? Even though I talked a lot, even though I always got in trouble for talking or moving around in my seat in school. I was diagnosed with ADD earlier on, but I was told I was a nuisance and, to be quiet, stop moving, this and that, right? And that's usually how a lot of people, they become afraid of speaking. They've been suppressed. Their voice they've been told their whole life, stay in your place. And if I don't know if y'all ever heard this before, but stay in a child's place, or you are to be seen, not heard. And a lot of adults, they tell kids this, and I'm not saying that my folks directly told me that. So if you're listening to this, Mom, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about school and all of that. But I've always had that, and I was afraid that I would be judged because of the things that were coming out of my mouth. So just judged for speaking up completely. So that was suppressed, right? And that happens to a lot of folks. And then we tend to gradually go up, and we're in the corporate atmosphere, and even before that, being in high school, corporate atmosphere. Can you imagine going and then going through all of that, all of those years with your voice suppressed, to going and working in a position to where You have to use your voice in order to work, right? So the stat is 77% of the people globally are afraid of public speaking in some form or another. Here's another stat. 70% of the jobs that we have require some sort of public speaking. So that could be, you doing interviews. Most companies, right? I don't know the stat on that, but most companies require you to do an interview. That's speaking, in the public. You could be talking to one person, you could be talking to two, you could be talking to upwards of, I have interviews where I've had a whole panel before I got hired to make sure that I was the right fit for a leadership position. There's meetings once you get hired in a job that you have to attend, that you have to speak up for, right? Once you start going up the ladder, your responsibility is going to be increased. And with increased responsibility, you have more people under you and beside you to where you're going to have to communicate with them. And how do you communicate with them if you're afraid to do so? It don't just go away once somebody tells you that you're the boss, or somebody tells you that you're the leader or the manager, whatever role or whatever you're calling yourself. It doesn't just go away. In fact, for me, it amplified. I remember being in the Marine Corps, and then all of a sudden having to go to a class, corporal's course, and then sergeant's course. Part of that is doing public speaking, is giving a speech in front of everybody. And I remember just being so nervous, but knowing that I had no choice, because this thing that I was doing, my purpose was greater, right? My purpose was greater than this moment. I knew that I had a job to do, so I did it. I psyched myself out, and it just like going to promotion boards. I would pump myself up, and I would just say, I'm going to be the strongest, the biggest, the loudest person. I remember for promotion board, I actually kicked the door open and I marched in with all of the senior people in our whole battalion, right? Kicked the door in, marched in. I ended up getting promoted, but that could have went very bad. They loved my confidence, but that wasn't necessarily who I was being. I wasn't using my voice. Then I went to corporal's course, same thing. I used that same aggression. I felt empty while doing it. It was so weird because that's not who I am. If I was truly being myself when I was giving those classes or I was going on those boards, I would talk about the way that I love people, the way that I love on people, the way that I encourage people to do their job. That's what I would have done instead of taking this aggressive approach. And a lot of people you will see that are in the public eye, that's what they'll do. They take an aggressive approach, even though they're not aggressive. I'm not aggressive, right? There's some mistakes that I've made along the way. If you look at my website, TonyTaylorInspires.com, you'll see this picture of me, and I'm just like, I'm just screaming, right? I'm screaming. That's not necessarily who I am all the time, but I was breaking through a lot of different stuff. And in my mind, and what I was thinking about was the whole public speaking. You have to break through your fear of public speaking. It's not just going to happen through repetition, right? Because you're not going to be able to get those reps in to do that if you're just relying on the moment that you need it. So you have to start raising your hand, and that's what I started doing. I started raising my hand and volunteering for everything. I went on to work for the Department of Defense Fire Department. Whenever I would hear that there was an opportunity, right? I would be sitting at the table. I would hear that there's an opportunity to go speak to some kids. Even though I was definitely afraid to do it, what I would do was I would immediately raise my hand and say, hey, sign me up for it. I would love to do it. But then as my hand was coming back down, I would be like, oh my God, I don't think that was a good idea. But then I would show up and I would do it. And I kept showing up and I kept doing it. And sometimes the new employee orientations for the fire department would consist of everybody that's on the military installation. I was about to say institution. On the installation, what will happen is they would go into an auditorium just to get everybody in and out quick as possible. So sometimes they'll have 250 people in one auditorium. I want to say there was up to like 500. I could be mistaken. I don't even know if that's legal. But there was hundreds of people. And I remember saying, oh my God, I can't believe that I did that. So that's what I started doing. I started volunteering for everything. And that's one thing that I want to encourage you to do. If you're afraid of public speaking, the only way that you're going to get better at public speaking is for you to volunteer, for you to keep volunteering. And you're going to notice that your voice, your style, your cadence is going to change, and that's okay, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to find your voice. A lot of people, they go outside of who they are as a person when they first become a speaker, or they first realize that they have to speak in order to be successful, right? There's different things that have changed in my life for the good because of my public speaking, because of having a podcast. If I wouldn't have never dived into what I'm doing today as far as public speaking, or conquered my fear of public speaking, my life would be completely different. And that's one thing that I want to do, is I want to encourage you to up your game in public speaking, because once you up your game in public speaking and you find your voice, not their voice, but once you find your voice, your authentic voice, that's when the sky is going to be the limit. So what I want to do is I want to offer you the chance to work with me on amplifying your voice. There's going to be a course, right? And I'm going to be there with you along the way. We're going to have different exercises that we're going to do with a small, intimate group of other people that are going through the same things that you're going through. It is not going to be like a Toastmasters where you show up and you have to use this formal verbiage. It's not going to be anything like that. You're going to be using your voice. If you're getting ready for an interview, we're going to prep you for that. We're going to go through that process. We're going to talk about your fears. There's going to be some tears in there. I want to hear your story, and I'm going to tell you my story. And we're going to get deep into the weeds so that you can be an effective public speaker, so that you can be an effective communicator. And effective communicators are good earners, right? Speeches have changed our world, have changed our society. Remember some of the greatest speeches. I Have a Dream. That speech changed the lives of so many different people. Gettysburg Address changed the lives of so many people. Lincoln's speech changed the lives of so many people. George Washington's speech changed the lives of so many people. General Patton, he is known for his speeches. President Barack Obama, President Barack Obama never would have gave that speech at the DNC convention, which he killed, I strongly believe he would have never been our president. That speech left people saying, oh my God, who is this person? And it created this wonder, because he had these ideas and he was so articulate. He was actually being himself. And when you listen to speeches from his wife, Michelle Obama, she'll make fun of the way that he talks, his proper and the way he is. She says that he's like that. He's like, oh, please pass me the jolly, or please do this, or I would like to take you out on a date. That's how he talks, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to help you get over your fear of public speaking. It doesn't have to necessarily be training you to become a motivational speaker or lead workshops or anything like that. You could be getting ready for an interview. You could want to have a tough conversation with a loved one, want to get better with conflict, want to get better with leading meetings. I want to help you find your voice. So what I need you to do is go to info@TonyTaylorInspires.com. Not go to, but email me at info@TonyTaylorInspires.com. I want to help you. I really want to help you. I know that I can help you reach your goals. I was once that person. I sweat at every meeting, and what I would do is I would wear a hat to hide the sweat, right? I want to teach you some of my tricks to the trade to get through the things that you need to get through so that you could become great. Don't wait until it's time for you to give a presentation, for you to get good or great at public speaking. Once you start using your voice, you can change the world. You have something special that you need to put out to the world, and I want to help you do it. So please reach out to me at info@TonyTaylorInspires.com, and I want to help you. And I want to see if you're a good candidate for what we have now created, Speak University. The website will be up soon. We're still working on it, but I want to reach out to my community first before we make this public. The website is going to be speakuniversity.org. Like I said, we're still working on it. Send me an email. Let me know if you're interested. I would love to help you. It would be an absolute honor to serve you, and we can talk about the commitment that it's going to take, because it is going to take a commitment, a significant commitment for you, because I think that your speaking ability, or just that you being able to speak, like you look at me, I say I say I'll pause sometimes, I'll be erratic, I'll speed up, I'll go down, but this is the way that I talk, and I want to help you do that. I want to help you get into some of the rooms that are closed off to you. So please reach out, info@TonyTaylorInspires.com. Thank you so much. That was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download. Subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.